What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, coming to y'all with that analysis while listening to analysis while holding down analysisplayground.com. Thanks for the love and the support, but we're going to talk about the Kemba Walker trade that had everybody going crazy because Kemba was mad that they were shopping him around. And he basically said that he went out of Boston after playing and 2 seasons last year. He was able to get to the conference finals. This year it was a first round exit. He didn't play well in the playoffs when he did play and then missed the rest of the playoffs with an injury. This isn't the same Kimba. So whoever get him in the future or whatever he becomes is going to be pivotal to his career. This was an all-star, all NBA quality player when he came to Boston. Now that he's leaving Boston, he's no longer the same. And I can also say the same for Al Horford. Al Horford is no longer a huge dynamic impact player. Since he played for Boston last, he was solid, but not great, not a high level starter anymore. And that was 2 years ago almost. And now he's going to be worse. And he didn't play much basketball, but he's going to be happy to actually be playing for something, as the Celtics will still be a competitive team. Without Kemba, they have a lot of guards and a lot of wings already on their team, whether it's Peyton Pritchard or even guys like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, and I can go on and on and on. They did need a big body, especially one that can set screens, one that can space the floor, and one that can be a solid defender. I don't think Al Horford is that guy that you think of him when you hear his name at this point of his career, but he is a cheaper contract. He is a tradable guy to a certain extent, and I don't think they wanted to keep Kemba long term anyway because of his injuries and just not knowing what he's going to be and being tied to that contract, being tied to Kemba, especially when he's not happy. You might as well just let him go. I think Al Horford isn't a better player than Kemba, but I don't think either one is that great or significant anymore at this point of their careers. I do think that the Celtics made this move to save money as they put themselves in a tight situation in the future, paying Brown, paying Tatum, paying Smart, paying Kimba. You was really locked into that core that really showed that they was very flawed throughout this regular season, and it really showed you that they had a limit of how good they could get, which I didn't think with this team currently constructed, especially with the salaries that these guys are making now that all these guys are on extensions. This team was going to be stuck in no man's land where you're good enough to make the playoffs, but not good enough to win a championship. And that's not where you want to be when you just came from the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and now you're a first round exit this year. I know COVID played a big part of that. The season played a big part of that. Injuries played a huge part of that as Kemba Brown and all these guys missed out on the playoffs. But we do need a time to regroup. We do need a time to regather, and we do need a big man that can do multiple things. And Al Horford can still serve that need more than we need more guards. And I think that that's important. But when I look at who won the trade outside of Boston dumping salary and getting off that Kemba contract, which could be worse in the future, I think the Oklahoma City did it again. I mean, the Boston Celtics have agreed to trade Kemba Walker and the number 16 pick in the 2021 draft and a 2025 second rounder to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Al Horford, Moses Brown, who's a young prospect that's huge, and a 2023 second round pick. So Horford left the Celtics to sign with the Philadelphia 76ers in 2019. Horford has 2 years, $53 million left on his contract with a partial guarantee of $14.5 million for the 2022-2023 season, which is huge, like I said, for the Celtics to get a cheaper contract than Kemba, but also ability to not even pay the entire contract if they choose to, or if they don't, they have that option that can clear up more cap space so they can sign somebody else or sign somebody to an extension depending on what they do this off season. Walker is still due $73 million over the next 2 seasons. With the Thunder in the middle of a rebuild, they plan on working with Kemba as they previously did with guys like Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, and Al Horford to get a move that he would like in the future. And they do have multiple picks that they can put with Kemba to get off his contract if he do want to go to a particular team. They have so many that they can get off his terrible contract if he doesn't perform, or even if he doesn't play for them at all, he can really get healthy and really, use this like Chris Paul to show that he can still play, he can still contribute in the future, and maybe they'll allow them to get off this contract. Oklahoma City also now owns 3 first-round picks in the 2021 draft. I think that that's huge, considering that this is a draft that you want to move up in, or you want to have as much equity in it, just because a lot of these guys could be huge pillars to a franchise changing team. This is a team that's going to have a high pick already, and on top of that, they have other picks as within the lottery or close to it. And this is a draft where you want to have that type of uh, possession of these picks, and they have 3 of them now, plus the other ones that they have too. You can package this pick and other picks to move up in the draft and probably give you 1 or 2 or even 3 of players that you want, or like. And they need to get stars. They got Kevin Durant, they got Reggie Jackson, they got Serge Ibaka, they got Russell Westbrook, they got guys like James Harden all in the draft. And it was because they had multiple first round top lottery picks that they was able to put together, develop, and get these guys to the level where they became an NBA Finals team at a very young age. And they have a lot of young pieces that are already interesting now with Shea Gilgeous, guys like Pokashevsky, guys like Maladon, and even the fact that they have even Baisley, even the picks that they have just in this draft alone, and the fact that they have so many of them that they can trade for another superstar. They can get a disgruntled all-star, and they can have so much cap space too that they can absorb contracts like Kemba and be fine with it, while getting more picks or even trading the picks to get somebody to come in because they have the cap space anyway to take them on. And they also will have the cap space to sign anybody that they want to if they feel like they want to move this thing quicker, or they feel like they can get a star in the prime of their career. They have the cap space to offer them a max contract to join whatever they have built in the future too. So the Thunder is playing with house money. They got everything they wanted. Now they get another pick. Now they get a guy that can turn into more picks in the future if he plays well when he gets healthy. And now they also get off Al Horford contract, which people thought they would do anyway. Even I did. And now he's gone. And now you have a point where you have another top 16 pick, which is incredible in this draft. And now you're in a situation where you have probably the brightest future in the NBA just because you have so many picks and so many drafts, and that don't even include the second round picks and the pick swaps, where the Thunder can be whatever they want to be at this point, and they can miss a lot and still have 2, 3 guys hit, and then they look like geniuses at the end. So this is a win, 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 win for Sam Presti and the Thunder, and they have done it again. I know people like the Moses Brown, but they already have a bunch of bigs that they are trying out. They have bigs in this draft that if they don't get Cade, they can take one of them and plug them into their rebuild, and they will already be better than Moses Brown. And they have other guys that give versatility and more things skill-wise than he does. So they had to give up a young prospect, but they can have so many picks that they can replace them anyway. And on top of that, you don't mind doing that. You got the guys that you want. You got the guys you scouting. Those are the guys you should be focused on developing and getting. Plus, like I said, the Celtics needed more bigs. And getting Moses Brown, a guy that's still growing and development, can be a very solid interior, kind of like Taco Falls, gives us more size and depth at the center position, and also helps us with Al Horford too, because you can play him at the four, and you got guys like Robert Williams, Moses Brown, and Taco that can play the center position, and you don't have to worry about Al Horford being this slow, ground bound center that can't cover up space when guys like Kevin Durant and Paul George play power forward, and you can't guard anybody. You can just plug a big body in there, kind of like what we seen with Boban in Dallas, was able to punish the smaller lineups. You can see that possibly with Moses Brown in the future, as he is a big body and a big guy that's mobile. So we just have to see how that plays out. But we do need more bigs, and getting Moses Brown and Al Horford helps that. And it gives us something to be interested in seeing where he goes and what he can become. As we took a flyer on Moses Brown, and I don't have a problem with that. Other than that, if I had to pick a winner, it's Oakley C. Getting off Al Horford, getting a first round pick that's top 16 guaranteed is beautiful, and they have done it again. Now they just have to see how they're going to build, who they're going to build with, and what they're going to be. But we don't really care. We just want to see what they're going to be in the future, and they have one of the best looking futures right now, if not the best. And you have to give Sam Presti credit for that. And Boston, I don't think they did bad in this trade. You don't think that, oh, you gave up Kemba for Al Horford, but they'll be fine. We have a bunch of guards, we have a bunch of wings, and we still have some things we need to do in the off season. So I don't think that we're done. Brad Stevens made a move already. He will be making more to really shape this roster the way he wants it to be, as he is the GM now, and he's going to figure out, what this team will look like and what we're going to be in the future also. So this is not a bad trade for Brad Stevens so far, but he has a lot more to make if he wants to, bring a championship back to the Celtics in Beantown in Boston. So other than that, I'll be back with my playoff reactions of the Sixers game, also the Clippers and Utah game. So I'll see y'all later today. Quinn Wade, basketball announcer signing out for right now, and I'll see y'all later today.